the comments to see if I'm connecting. Hey, how's connection and how's audio? I'm telling myself to hide the banner on how many people have donated during the broadcast, because I think it's kind of obtrusive. But I still have that banner there that I can't get away from. But this is as good as I can get when I'm using apps. Hey, Chris. Good mornings. Hey, Yasin, I don't know if you know this, but maybe you can help me out as well. I remember before the update of apps, I can actually burn the comment onto my screen, so people who are watching from a different platform, let's say you're not watching from apps, someone commented on YouTube's, and I can also show it on the screen for Periscopers to view it. I don't see that function anymore, so I don't know why Haps took it away. Watching on Perry. Hey, Holistic Deb, how's it going? Connection is great. Audio is doing fine. Great. How are we doing today? I'm doing good. You can definitely help. So yeah, I don't know how to burn that comment. They call it burning, right? But anyway, anyone know about the story of GameStop? I feel like everyone should know about it now, and if you haven't heard about the story, you should really Google it. And it's interesting. It's a very interesting piece of news. I am not a financial guy. I'm not a finance guy. I used to work in an investment bank for a very short period of time. How's China? China's doing fine. China's winning. But oh, my hat! I forgot my Ho-Chat hat. But yeah, tell me what you think about the story, so we can start from there. And also follow me on Twitter if you're still watching this from Periscope, because it's going away soon. You do not see the present live. Present live when trying to reply to a comment from YouTube or Periscope. Well, I'm using apps, and I don't see the present live thing, right? So I can't burn it. Oh yeah, this all makes crypto even stronger. Crypto is a different thing. Crypto is even more interesting, but because I haven't been following the crypto news, and now the price has been, rocketing so high, I wonder who's like bullish of it, and what kind of money is in the game of crypto. I tried to understand a little bit more about the crypto market. I even have a book about blockchain that I'm supposed to read, but maybe I need to download the audio version just to listen to about it. Don't worry about it. How's this decent for a change? Hey, Richard. What is China doing about coronavirus? L, your spelling is terrible, but I'm guessing your question is, what is China doing about coronavirus? Everyone is doing, they're testing and they're giving vaccines, and the country is running pretty okay. Although I'm only hearing this from my friends living in China, because I don't live in China anymore. I find it funny that the hedge fund owners are throwing such a fit. Yeah, that's the most interesting thing that I see, because first of all, I don't buy stocks, I don't trade stocks, even though I've had a little taste of what the world of finance is like when I was in Hong Kong. I have many friends who work in banks, investment banks. I used to work in an investment bank myself, not as a trader or anything, but like a middle office job. But I do hang with people, in the finance sector, right? And so I have a very negative sentiment on the group of people before I joined the firm. I was kind of convinced the things that are doing are mostly fine when I'm working for the firm. And after I left the firm, I don't think much about it, because it's not my business, it's not my game anymore. So I don't think much about it. But I always knew that the whole stock market game is a big boys game, and I never wanted to be involved with it, because it's like going into a casino. You have players who are better informed, they have more resources, they have better technology. And if I'm just a guy who wants to beat the system and win most of the time, right? Well, win at least 50% of the time, more than 50% of the time, I think it's a very hard game to play. That's why I never want to go into stock trading. For me, it's a gambling. It's like poker, right? It's like poker, but it's even more sophisticated. And because I'm not good at trading, I tell myself I would not do such things to make money, right? Try one of these coming on Periscope with the blue and try present it on the screen. Oh, okay. So they oh, so it's hidden in the comment right now. Okay, I see it. Thanks, Yasin. Very helpful. Not good typing with a small keyboard, right? Okay. You had better have some great resources to win, right? China threw a hissy fight yesterday about Britain offering passport to certain Hong Kong citizens. Website was launched. I saw a piece of news about it, Richard. So it concerns dual citizens, people who have a Hong Kong passport and who have like a Canadian passport for this case. And they were saying basically if you were to go to a consular for any kind of protection, go to a Chinese consulate for any kind of protection, you have to declare that you are Chinese citizens, that therefore you cannot have another passport. I think that's the scheme of things, but that's always been the case. Most people who have more than one passport, but they have the Chinese passport, they're not supposed to do it. So they know it's not like it's a new thing that rolled out. It's always been the case, but I think the news kind of just clarifies it. Thank you. The problem with hedge fund, every time I have to do this, my screen, I don't think it's a good interface because I prefer the before, like the function before, you can just click onto it and you can see it at the bottom. Now I click onto the icon, my screen goes black, and then I have to click to another thing and show it, and then I have to go back. It's very inconvenient for me as a moderator. They are betting that it will crash with borrowed credit. Yes, Bobby. And they were betting more than 100% of the stock value, which is weird. I don't understand how that works, to be honest. But eventually, the hedge fund managers were betting 140% of the stock price to go down, right? So purchased a few shares, BB, NOK, AMC today, hold the line. So Doug, what platform are you using to trade? Because again, I don't trade. I don't know the details, but it's such a fascinating story for me. Hello, St. John. How's it going? Hey, JT. JT, do you play stocks? Did you hear about the HAPS challenge? I did, Yasin. I did. Hey, Redmore. What's China's view on GameStop? I haven't read any people commenting about the GameStop story in China, but there are regulations in place in the Chinese stock market. It's also highly rigged, right? I'm not saying Chinese stock market is better or worse. I think all stock markets are the same, right? It's a game that if you have insider information, if you have an edge somehow, whether it is legal or illegal, doesn't really matter because it's the game, right? So in this case, the hedge fund manager was like up in their arms and telling the mainstream media that these people manipulating the stock prices are doing a bad thing and we should regulate it, right? But they're doing the same thing. But the things they're doing are not illegal because they somehow they can move around the goal line, the goalpost, right? So the rules don't apply to them because they make their own rules. But when the rules are not favoring them, now they're suffering as a consequence. And now they say we should put in rules to stop these people from manipulating the market. You see the irony in it, right? Interesting icon local, very adventurous, very John Steve. Thank you. Use Ameritrade. It's not restricted yet. Right. So I think there's an app called Robinhood. And so that's an app that a lot of people are talking about. Find a cheap stock and get an army to invest in it. A cheap stock. What's a stock? You mean? Okay. Right. But essentially, the hedge fund managers are kind of doing the same thing, right? So what the hedge funds manager game is, they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of money, they have billions and billions of dollars to trade, right? So what they do is they identify stocks, usually not a very big stock, huge stock, right? So if they do invest, or if they put on a position, right, they can manipulate the stock price a little bit easier than the bigger stocks, right? And so what they do is they would also use their own channels, whether it is their email chains on like fellow investors, or they have connection with the media, right? And so they just kind of put a very pessimistic view on a specific stock, right? And so let's say if they put on a short positioning, meaning they want the stock price to go down in order for them to make money, because they're betting on it, it's a bet. And so they bet on it, and then they use their platforms or their connections to tell people, yeah, this stock is not going well, like this company is not doing well, it's going to crash. And so people follow because they're like big traders, and so the stock crashes, they make money that way. And in addition to that, they can even buy the stock at a cheaper price if they feel like the stock will go up in price if it's performing better, right? So they put on a short positioning, or they buy it at a cheap price. And so there's all these ways they can do it, and it's never been a problem. They don't complain about it because they can play the game, you know, and they can win in the game, right? But with GameStop, because now you're facing with a bunch of Reddit followers, like a Reddit thread group of people, nobody, right? But there's so many of them. And so now even their billions of dollars are not competing with the hundreds and thousands of people buying at a higher position of GameStop stock. So they're losing billions of dollars. And for me, it's a very interesting turn of event. And I just find it fascinating how the mainstream news is reporting it, how some of the smaller platforms are reporting to it, because like it's all colluded, right? TD American Trade halted buying. Really? Damn. What they did was illegal. Well, you know, but this is the thing of most games in the world. They got beat at their own game and couldn't believe it. Yeah, exactly. So game theory, or anything that I perceive as a system, right? Um, you have to understand the playbook and the rules, right? And so let's say if you play in a game of football, I guess it's a more relevant analogy, right? And so you're supposed to know the black and whites, right? The things that you're supposed to do, the things you're not supposed to do, right? And also the loopholes, because there's always a gray area, right? Like, what if the situation happens? Like, is there a rule on the playbook that says you can or cannot do, right? So like when you go into playing any kind of game, you have to understand what is your position. Can you be better than most players, or are you worse than most players? In the game of trading, stock trading, like any individual like me, like you, like just anyone who has normal access to a computer with the internet, right? But not inside information, not a lot of money, not a super fast terminal that you can trade, because you can put in some algorithms and do like fast trading, like high frequency trading, right? You're just a regular person. You just have one laptop, you just have the regular internet, and you just have the regular internet to play the game of trading stocks, right? Like, I've seen the big sharks, and whenever I see them, I tell myself, I'm not going to play this game, because there's no way for me to win consistently. And if I do win, it would be mostly by luck. Now, people don't understand this. A lot of people think, oh, they've made some money from the stock market, they must be good at it. I think it's mostly just luck with a little bit of, I think it's mostly luck, right? And so I never believe in people telling me what stocks to buy just because they have won or made some money from a certain trade. Because first of all, they only tell you their wins. It's like a typical gambler, right? They only tell you when they win. When they lose, everyone just kind of hides or don't talk about it. So you're going to be always listening to positive outcomes of these systems to attract you to do it. But when people lose a shitload of money, they don't tell you about it, right? So you feel like, oh, I have a chance. I have a chance in this game. And that's what is the risks of playing in the stock market. And that's why I never do it because I don't think I have a chance. I would rather play poker with a group of people that I know what are their skills, what are their levels, and to evaluate whether I can win or not in those games in the long run. In the long run, right? Gamblers only talk about wins. You beat me to it, right? So it's for me. There's not much difference when it comes to trading stocks um, and playing in a casino, right? Sure, there's no house, but there are people behind the scenes that you're not aware of. So you think you have the information to make a well-informed decision when in fact you don't, because you can never have all the information, right? If anyone had all the information, they would have win every single time. But because if they don't have the information, they're just making speculations, they're just making bets. So you win and you lose, right? And the rule of the game is you have to win more than you lose. But if you're always in a position that you're not presented with accurate information all the time, then you're just playing the game blindly. There's no difference to me, right? Uh, so so this whole GameStop story for me is a good lesson to remind myself: don't touch the stock market, uh, as in trading. Hi, Ian. Oh, Ian is also in HAPS. I'm glad. Hey, Ian, the brain scientist. And yeah, the psychology of it is also, since we have a brain scientist here, the psychology of trading is also something that you have to have a very calm, um, like emotional setting to really execute based on your decisions. Funny how the firms rather pay fines to government than let it play out. I don't know specifically what scenario, which case you're talking about, Craig. Agreed. Good to see you here. Right. So I don't know. Like, is anyone buying any stocks? And how many people are following the news? I really want to have a conversation with someone because otherwise I'm just doing this monologue myself. Um, but yeah, I think this is the top story of 2021. I'm so glad Donald Trump is out of the office, because one thing that I was so frustrated in the past 4 years is the news would not stop talking about Trump. Like, let's not even discuss who he is as a president, right? I'm done with it. But for the past 4 years, there has been so many things happening in the world, but everyone is just talking about the COVID and Donald Trump, and it got to me to a point that I was so tired of these stories that I just muted these terms. I muted COVID. I muted Donald Trump on my feeds, on my Facebook feed, so I would not see anything related to it. Censorship of the stock market. Oh, okay. The financial place can't do what they did. The SEC will fine. Okay. My retirement is in stocks partially. Yes, Paula, and I hope you have some fund manager that is a little bit more ethical and a little bit more conservative when it comes to managing your money. Because, I mean, partially in stocks, is it 90% partial? Is it 50% partial? Is it 10% partial, right? Because stocks are high volatile Stocks are very volatile products, right? So if your fund has a lot of portion in the stock market, and if the stock market would just fluctuate a lot, then your retirement money is at risk. And the weird thing about the stock market is, despite the whole world's economy going on a downturn, right? There's no country that is not suffering. There's no country's economy that is not suffering because of COVID. Yet the stock market is in record high. Like, can anyone explain to me how is that okay, or how does that reflect the economy? Like, I thought, right? I'm being naive, and I'm thinking, wait, I thought people buy stocks because they have optimistic views on companies, right? On public companies. But nope, it's not that. It's not about that. It's about where to park your money, how to make a quick buck, and how to use the platform to just, yeah, make money. So it's not about investing in a company that you have like a long-term positive view on the performances. It's not about that anymore. What's China think about the Doge coin? What's a Doge coin? Are you talking about crypto or Bitcoin? Um, I don't know if you've seen the documentaries about the mining farms back 5, 7 years ago when people were starting to go big on crypto. And they had these like houses of computers connected to CPUs connected to the laptop and just like mining bitcoins. Then the government like put down on it, so I don't think people are using China as a base to mine cryptos anymore. That's not okay. But the emergency release went straight to the big companies. That's why stocks went up. I don't know if that's the case. Um, where am I now? Hong Kong. Has there been coverage of this Marvin short squeeze? I'm in Thailand right now, Ian, and I'm pretty sure there are news articles in Hong Kong because Hong Kong is also a big financial market to talk about this news. I haven't read onto the stories, and I don't know how they're reporting on the story because in Thailand, I also know a chief editor of a news outlet, and he has also written a report on the whole GameStop story. So the world knows about it already, right? It's not limited to English news. I'm sure there's Chinese news, there's Thai news that's reporting on the GameStop story, but how they're reporting it? Are they condemning these Reddit people, or are they condemning the hedge fund manager, or are they like saying how the system is rigged and really they should? I don't know what their position is, right? But for me, it's just interesting to discuss and look at the different perspectives of it. Let's not change the worldview based on the exploitation of greed hack. Meaning, what do you mean, Vincent? Dogecoin, next GameStop. Oh, is China not invested in Dogecoin? I don't know. I don't even know about Dogecoin. I mean, I'm not a finance guy again, right? So I'll look into it. And I think there should be a Chinese name in it. Whatever Chinese is investing outside of China or inside of China, because it's a different thing. And when you say China, do you mean the government or some big corporations? Because it's also different. So I won't comment on that story that I don't know anything about. Right. And I'm trying to look into my Facebook. Um, yeah, I don't see anything yet. Hey Dean, how's it going? Yeah, so uh, just a quick comment on the GameStop story. I think China used Bitcoin mining due to cheap electricity. All those servers moved to somewhere else. Yeah, yes, you are right, Tanner. Um, electrical like electricity cost was cheaper back in the days, but I think in order to mine bitcoins nowadays, it's very expensive unless you have a solar farm that you can tap into. But setting up Solar panels are also expensive. Are you out of Facebook gel? I have no beef with Facebook anymore because I'm not doing shady stuff on the platform. When I say shady, it's basically pushing out content that might be in violation of their terms of services. But it's not. It's nothing political. It's more copyright infringement related. So I'm not doing that kind of stuff anymore. So I am still using Facebook, and for me, it is a platform to connect with my friends all over the world. I know America is a lot of people in America I know are anti-Facebook for some strange reason, but outside of America, you have to understand Facebook is still one of the biggest platforms that people would use on a daily basis to read news, to connect, to communicate, to advertise, to do all sorts of things, right? GameStop news is known in China. Just check it on Weibo. Is minor news. Yeah, I don't think it relates to Chinese people much because it's like a foreign like a stock exchange. But I'm sure maybe in some group chats, people would talk about it. We're interested in how international markets will react to seeing such an unpredictable market disruption. Um, so so this is the only limited information I can share, right? Because I'm not knowledgeable enough to talk about it. The Hang Seng Stock Exchange, which is the biggest stock exchange in Hong Kong, in my opinion, is basically a place where companies in China is trying to set up a legitimate registry for investments to come in and out through the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, right? So it's predominantly at this point, right, Chinese investments and foreign investments that are looking into Chinese companies. It used to be more Hong Kong companies or Asian companies that has a base in Hong Kong, and they would use it to trade, right? But nowadays, I think the majority of the function of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is for Chinese companies to move outside of their borders and to be publicly traded, so foreign investment can also have a dip in the game, right? And of course, why not? Because they want to have money from outside, and also to legitimize whatever they've been doing. So it's kind of like a money laundry system, a legitimate money laundry system, and also trying to raise funds from foreign investors. And so I don't think they have a lot of risks when it comes to the small people, right, the individuals, um, to use these kind of technologies to impact the stock prices. And first of all, Hong Kong investors, individual ones, they're not as sophisticated, and there's not as many people um, in terms of numbers compared to the American Stock Exchange, right? So you have very few people in Hong Kong that would do such things. So, and I don't think they're that tech savvy enough to use Reddit and to kind of collude or to cohort and do this kind of activity. So that's Hong Kong, right? The Thai stock market is is very rigged. It's very corrupted, in my opinion. And normal folks don't really do much trades in the Thai market because anyone who's listed in the Thai stock market, they're usually the monopoly companies, the state-owned companies, the army funded companies that wants to raise more funds using the stock market. But as far as trading volume goes, I don't think that Thai stock market has a lot of transactions on a daily basis. So in Asia, you have Nikkei, the Japanese stock market, you have Hong Kong Hang Seng, and then you have the Singapore. So these are the three biggest stock market in Asia. Hey, Pablo, I've been waiting to see someone to talk about GameStop. Yeah, I know. Facebook is the devil. Sure. Plus, the stimulus to the people was eventually re-injected back to the service like Amazon. Okay. I don't know much about it, so I need to read up on it. Hedge fund overextended shorts to help force a company under. Company performed better than expected. Wall Street bets. thought they could take advantage and did. Regulators are easing the institutions out of the mess they got in but halted buys. It is true that the stock market is about investing in companies or waves of companies based on production and need. Right. And how do I burn this? I can't burn your message, or I don't need to because it's showing on other places. I don't know how it works. Present on screen. Oh, it's already presented. Okay. Another cost to the rise of the stock market despite this decline in the business due to COVID. Mm-hmm. Right. So, oh, okay. It's burning on the screen now. Whoa, that's a long comment. And my face is completely covered. Maybe we can turn down on the background color, Pablo, if you're still watching this. The comment that's burning on the screen is just like, you need to do something about the color. Make it like translucent, somewhat transparent at least, okay? Because I can't, like it's sticking there for what, 10 seconds? And I think my video is also lagging a lot. Am I very choppy? I think I'm very choppy. I don't like this when this happens. I might need to do a reset. I'm restarting my graphics. The video is delayed. Right, okay. Well, I don't, see, this is the thing, right? I'm gonna go closer to the Wi-Fi. Bitrate issue on OBS. Right, audio is good, basically slow motion. All right, okay, so, this is not cool. Okay, well, I mean, I'm done. I'm done talking about it, and we're back. Yeah, but I'm still being choppy, right? Okay. Anyway, I'm closing scope because I don't like to see myself like this. Pablo, help me out here. Tell me that this will be fixed soon because it's getting a little bit annoying. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna check out. I know you can hear fine, but it's bothering me if I'm seeing myself moving frame by frame. Sit next to the router. That's the whole purpose of my. I know the irony. All right, guys. But yeah, follow the news if you haven't. GameStop, I think it's the best story. It's the best story in 2021. I'll see you guys another time. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.